Hello, Daisy Cakes. This is Daisy X Machina, the drag queen detective who investigates all things speculative in science fiction, fantasy, and horror. And this is a Get Ready With Me, where I get into drag to film a video later today. John Crow is here. Lori is here. Hello, you two. Thank you for joining us. John, how is your wife? I hope she's doing well. I know you've been going through it. So if you want to share, you don't have to share. As usual, how is everyone's reading going this week? Let's see. I finished The Uninvited, and I'm going to film a video today, I believe, on The Uninvited. So I also found a copy of the movie, which was hard to find. It stars Ray Milland. And Frank is here. John is here. Well, I am so happy to hear your wife is healing nicely. Wow. Lynette. Yes, send her our love. Yeah, so I finished The Uninvited. Dorothy McCardle, going to film a video today on it. I also saw the movie. I do recommend The Uninvited if you're into gothic horror, but I will tell you, at least for me, it took, I almost DNF'd it because it was so darn slow for the first like 30% maybe. But once I got over that part because McCardle really loves doing her descriptions, and it's like this is a lot because we don't see that in modern writing as much these days. Anyway, once I got through that, I couldn't put the book down. It just was a page turn. I had to know what's coming next. So, but just the start was a little rough. And I'm reading a middle grade novel. I guess it's a spooky horror novel. It's not that spooky. The Monsters of, I forgot the title. I need to look it up. Because it's funny because I just Dorothy McCardle's an Irish writer, and the guy who did this group, or who did this Monsters of Rookhaven, is Irish. Padraig, Padraig. I don't know how to pronounce that. Padraig Kenny. Anyway, a very interesting book. So anyway, let's get, I was going to tell you about it, but I'm like, you guys probably don't want to know. Lynette read Antimatter Blue, sequel to Mickey 7. A little bit better than the first book. Oh, usually that doesn't happen. Usually, for me anyway, it's like the first books are usually my favorite. I'm reading a book called Matilda about Empress M. You might want to look at it, Lynette. Also read Japanese book, Convenience Store Woman, 4 to 5. Who wrote that? Trying to finish Annihilation by Michael Houellebecq over the weekend, one of my favorite European writers. You read a book about Empress Matilda last year. I don't know anything about her. Or maybe it was the same one. Loved Convenience Store Woman. Just finished Daughter of the Empire, and I am starting Stars by Destination. Now that's the Daughter of the Empire is the Raymond Feist, Jenny Wirtz series. But that's like the first book of the series. So it's interesting you're not continuing the series. Because I that's my favorite of the, Midkemia Feist books. And Stars My Destination, that I was gonna say Alfred Bester, but am I what am I thinking of? I like convenient okay, everyone's ready except me. Rhaenyra is based on Matilda. Is that Hirakami convenience store? No, Muraka. Here I am, Japanese American, can't pronounce these words. Muraka Sakarta. Listening to Servant on radio. Okay, there you go. So you're continuing it. I'm not familiar with that one. Plan to read more Sayaka Virata books. Okay, so I wasn't crazy about my look last week, so I'm going to try to do something more in my usual vein. And I'm going to go to with the blue eyeshadow with the pink lid, which I done many times before, and it's my favorite, one of my favorites. I'm going to try not to be experimental this week after 2 weeks of not my favorites. Oops. Okay. I like each of these eyebrows on their own, but they definitely do not match. Now, if you don't know, and if you watch Netflix, the new Black Mirror episodes are out. And if you have the Disney Channel, the new Andor is out, but I haven't seen it yet. So, um, I'm going to try something a little bit different. The only thing different was I just came down. Okie dokie. Dragon Reborn short was brilliantly awesome. Oh, thank you, John. Yeah, I do shorts on TikTok, and sometimes I load them on YouTube. Thank you, Lori. They're sisters, not twins. Well, these ones are cousins. Earthlings, the follow-up was a disappointment to me, but she's got a new one. Blackbeard, what a black-hearted guy. Your pick, Lynette. The the taxed penguins. Think the Brits finally got him. Who are we talking about? Blackbeard? Her new one sounds like it is science fiction. It's about a society where everyone has children via IVF and sex is considered gross. Okay. That is a great thing about science fiction. It's the whole premise is always based on what if. Okay. The Forever War, everyone 1,000 years from now is gay and the soldiers fighting the war. I love that book. Forever War by I want to say Haldeman, but that's not right, is it? Okay. Um, let's keep going, I guess. Oh, I did get it right. John Haldeman, the Vietnam vet guy. Okie dokie. Yeah, this week I will release the next Shelve It or Shove It. And I don't know if I'm going to do. Well, I'm going to film the Uninvited today, and maybe film the picking the 1944 Hugos, retro Hugos. I may release some. I don't actually. That's 2 weeks from now. Who knows what I'm going to do in terms of releasing in 2 weeks. I have a lot of things to watch. New Doctor Who. I did like the second episode of Doctor Who. Let's see. Just I don't know why blue is one of the easiest colors to blend. Blue and green, and I can't even use green that often. So anyway, I want to watch New Doctor Who and Andor. I'm going to try something because I've seen another drag queen do it. It's just that's in the black at this point. They don't like military sci-fi. Well, it's a kind of a different. You might like this one. I don't know. Maybe not. Uh, don't bother, Lynette. I can give you a spoiler. No, don't give a spoiler. Yes, we're talking about Doctor Who again. Mind Bridge is a good non-war read by him. I thought the Raw Doctor Who episode Lux was fantastic. That's the one I'm talking about. I'm not all that crazy about them keep bringing back the gods of another dimension or whatever they're doing. Kind of going to be glad when that could follow this doctor throughout his entire regeneration, I guess. But I did like the episode quite a bit. Yes, John, new Doctor Who season. I have most of my sci-fi reads picked for the next year. We'll get to Mindbridge. Just started. I hope you mean season. It just started a couple weeks ago. The new Doctor Who season. The Doctor Who series started in 1964, 60 something. I like the first season of Andor. It's more dark, it's darker. Well, here's what I did not like about it because it was a lot of the episode was about being in prison, and I'm not crazy about prison movies or prison shows and our stories. And but it was still quite good. It wasn't the whole season he was in prison, but yeah, John, you have a lot of catching up to do. According to Mrs. Flood, something really big is going to happen. I love Mrs. Flood. She just keeps popping in really prominently now. I love stories about the pantheon. I just wish they would call them gods. And they really I'm not gonna go into the god of death because, Tom Baker's my favorite Doctor Who, and I do quite remember the episode about the, pyramids of Mars, but it's with the um, first glimpse of Set or Seth, whatever they called him, the god of death. But in that episode, they were just Seth and Osiris and Isis, they were just um, advanced beings that lived a long time. They'd never called themselves gods. So anyway, Sutek, thank you. Um, oh yeah, I was going to stamp black, like right. Actually, I like that. I like that. Yeah, I'm releasing my shoulder shove it for God, it's May already, but I'll forgot what book it was. I have to look up. Okay, now I'm going to cut it with pink. And should we? I'll try to ombre it. I have to vote in the Australian election next week. I won't vote too early because the last time I did, I arrived before the sausage sizzle and cake stand had been set up. Is that your treat? Is it a big election? We get a lot of stolen stuff from Africa back now. What are we talking about? Each nation should make replicas of their non-native antiquities and return the originals. How civilized in Scotland, you only get tea and biscuits. Who doesn't love sausage? We get nothing here. At least where I live, I don't remember any special treat around the election polls. Oh dear. Hmm. Yeah. Okay. You can't just live on tea, though. I think the Brits tried it in the 19th century. They have been addicts ever since. Well, American coffee. Voting is compulsory, so they do a good business. I don't know how I feel about compulsory voting. See, it's part of your duty to gorge. The Brits and the English are avid tea drinkers. In Britain, return everything there would be a little to show in the British Museum. Well, one thing museums do is they do preserve um, fragile things that might not withstand the test of time. Same for the Smithsonian. I love the Smithsonian's, which are all free, by the way, if you ever visit. Well, who knows now, but it used to be all the Smithsonian museums were free. Tea fueled the independence revolution along with gin. Yeah, I wonder if that's why we don't drink tea very much. No, I want to look that up though, because that sounds hilarious. Voting is compulsory in French in Deutschland. Went to Smithsonian on a school trip once. Incredible. It's just so many. It's not just one building. There's like on the Washington Mall. The mall is a big expanse of grassland, not grassland, but of grass. Um, with I don't know. There must be like a dozen more buildings on and each museum is has a different specialty, like the Air and Space Museum, the American Indian Museum, all sorts of museums. Okay, so I'm going to start with white. Okay. Good friend of mine is a curator at the Air and Space Museum. I always love that one. Well, if you're into science fiction and are into space travel, they have like you can like walk through the they call the capsule that comes down, but the really old one from I don't know if it was from the moon landing, but it was from that period. Couldn't see a whole lot. You can spend a week there. Democratic Penguin Republic videos up today. And they have a space program. Join the clangers. I saw a little bit about penguins on TV a week ago. Marvelous birds. My mate's sister was fired. Then 4 days later, she had a letter begging her to come back. Oh my goodness. Yeah, then the Pope died after Vance's visit. There's a lot of that happening now. They obviously have no idea what they're doing. I don't want to get really into politics. By the way, speaking of birds, because we're talking about penguins, I just found out about a new bird. Maybe you guys know it, but if you look them up, they look like dinosaurs. Cassowary, Cassowary. And they're big. I don't think they're as big as ostriches, but they're also kind of hostile. And if you can find a video of them vocalizing, it's almost like a horn, like this deep sonorous horn. Hey, James, the Medium Answer is here. Thank you for joining us. Okay, it's an Australian bird, the cassowary. Evil dinosaur birds. They also live in New Guinea. Okay. What I think I want to do. Just want a little bit of shine. Okay. And I want to define this crease more, so wish me luck on this one. Daisy, what are some fantasy authors who write political intrigue the best? Um, I just finished reading, well, I finished reading the first two books of Adrian Tchaikovsky's. He's mostly known for science fiction, but he also does fantasy. Tyrant Philosophers series. Let me look up the first book. I hate recommending things and not remembering what I'm doing. Of course, if you haven't read George R.R. Martin, the politics are amazing in Wheel of Time, in Song and Ice, the Game of Thrones books. Adrian Tchaikovsky. Tyrant philosophers. Okay. The first book is City of Last Chances. Second book is House of Open Wounds. The third book I have not read yet is Lives of Bitter Rain. Now, the interesting thing about that, it's a trilogy, but they're all standalone stories. So I'm not like in a hurry to read the last book because I know I won't really need to remember that much about the first two books. Another of my favorite writers is Guy Gavriel Kay. And I believe there's some politics. It's been a while since I've read them, but in those books too. Okay, so if you're into science fiction, C.J. Cherry, her Alliance Union universe, heavy politics on any of those books. My favorite is Cytine. Okay, got a little bit messier than I thought. What are you guys talking about? Man, the USA was killed by its pet cassowary. Yeah, you really should have. People have these pets that they shouldn't have because they're exotic. Uh, yeah, what a choice for a pet. Although, what are those big things that look like hamsters? I have to admit, they look pretty darn cute. I don't think the beak is poisoned. I think they hit with such force. Star mountains, they're unexplored. And they usually disembowel with their sharp talons. Yipes! Look it up, Frank. The bird is, I mean, it's not as big as an ostrich, but it's like in that family. Modern velociraptors. Third tallest bird in the world, about 6 feet tall. I'm not a Birdman, though I saw a bad film yesterday by that title, Birdman. Great Emmy War. Oh, those TV. Oh, right, those emu TV insurance. My favorites are the Shinur series and the Faded Sun. Okay. Wouldn't have been funny if they called Penguin Random House Random Penguin Random Penguin House. Capybara. Capybaras, yes, thank you. Prairie dogs. A lot of times with those exotic animals that aren't really domesticated is sometimes when they make the bond with a human, it's only that human that they bond with. So you're basically at their beck and call for their entire lifetime. If you read about people that like raise a raccoon or something. Mm. Why, oh, why? I keep misplacing what I'm looking for. Okay. Mm. Okay, I think the eyes are done. And having a runny nose while you're doing makeup is wonderful. I just wish it didn't look so splotchy. Okay. People are stupid with these pets. Was killed by a pet hippo. Well, hey, in at least ancient Egypt, hippos were considered like some of the uh, most deadly of creatures. Yep, he raised it from a baby and pulled him in the water. The Cuban guy got caught doing on a Zoom call. I don't know. They're cute and harmless when they're young, and then they get big. Yeah. The guy in the West has a pet bull bison. That doesn't seem that unusual to me because they're just so related to other herd animals. And I'm saying that because I lived in San Francisco for about 20 years, and we there are pet bison in the park. I don't even know if you'd call them pets, though. They just wandered around in a pasture. Jeffrey Tubin. I am boycotting Amazon. I have been going around thrift stores called Op Shop in Australia. Op Shop? Never heard that. Looking for puzzles, much cheaper than buying them on Amazon. I don't watch any sports. Neither do I. Well, if once in a great while I'll watch the Super Bowl, sometimes just for the halftime. And sometimes, it is sort of an event, but that's like once a year, especially if you know the city the team's from. Well, I don't live there now. I live in Las Vegas right now, James. Ancient Egypt had sacred crocodiles that were not the Nile variety, closely related to ones in Mali. Anyway, I'm James. I moved in San. I moved in. I moved to San Francisco in '89, just in time for the Loma Prieta earthquake, and I lived there at least 20, yeah, over 20 years, I think. Then I moved to Oakland, which is practically San Francisco. And it's changed a lot. I don't Here's the thing. When I moved to San Francisco, I don't know if you're familiar with, oh shoot, Tales of the City, Armistead I don't know how to pronounce his name, Armistead Maupin, and he was a writer in San Francisco that wrote about San Francisco. They made a BBC series on it. But when I moved there, it was very much like Tales from the City. I mean, I recognized the bars he wrote about, um, sort of the neighborhood he wrote about because he lived there. And something happened in the late 90s, something called the internet or Silicon Valley. So that's when a lot of very, very wealthy people started moving into San Francisco. And the culture changed dramatically in the 2000s. Um, because this is going to sound weird. When when I moved there, there were some rough neighborhoods or some disreputable neighborhoods, and I kind of miss that. There's sort of this gritty underbelly of San Francisco that just doesn't exist there anymore because everything is so expensive that no one can afford or the property values went up so much that there just really aren't any of um, those neighborhoods anymore. Like when I first moved to San Francisco, I stayed at a residence hotel with me and my friends on O'Farrell Street, and we could walk down O'Farrell, go to Polk Street, where all the prostitutes hung out, male and female, at the time, and get like really cheap pizza. And it was I kind of miss that sort of gritty culture. And by the time we moved out, it's totally different now. The Yeah, there's no cheap neighborhoods in San Francisco anymore that I'm aware of anyway. And I miss sort of the gritty, sort of tough underbelly that was once you could find in Polk Street, which right now, Polk Street, oh my gosh, it's just such a yuppified, straight uh, neighborhood now. It's unbelievable from what it used to be, where the drag clubs were, where the transsexual clubs were, um, strip clubs, no more. Anyway, sorry. Sorry, it went on about that. Uh, they raise them for leather. Oh, Crocodile Farms. SF is hell now, I hear. Depends on what your definition of hell is now. Yeah, it's changed. I saw that on NCIS Australia when they were in Durban. Never thought about that. I just think about handbags and shoes. Croc meat tastes like a mixture of chicken. I've had crocodile meat. I get what you're saying, Daisy. Thank you for sharing your You're welcome, James. Okay, so I'm going to do the lips. How long have we been going? Oh, anyway. Actually, I made good time on this. Oh, but one more thing. I keep saying I'm done with the eyes. I just wanna I have this, these little glitter flakes that I wanna put on. Is the one? It's just a tiny you probably can't even tell the difference. That's fine. Okay. I was gonna do pink lips. I think I'm just gonna do red lips. I went really heavy on the blush. I don't I was watching Drag Race and someone was wearing, like, a lot of blush, so I was like, "I wanna do that." Okay. My city hasn't changed all that much in the last 50 years. Interesting. Mine has changed a lot since the 70s when they started the art school and restored downtown. That sounds nice. A lot of gentrification has happened here, and now our two downtowns are dead since 2020. Everyone's working remotely now. When I was a little girl, I loved watching The Cat and the Fiddle Clock, and The Cat and the Fiddle Arcade is still there and it's still working. That's so amazing. I'm gonna do a red lipstick of keep thinking, should I do blue or pink? Do red. Mm. Huh. I thought I put white in, but okay. Historic district is surrounded by high crime, but they don't tell the tourists that. Oh no. Some people call Hobart Slowbart because change comes so slowly here. That's kind of cool. Okay. So I'm going, let me put on some this. And false eyelashes. And I think we're done. Done skis. Oh, I forgot to tell you. I went and saw Peter Pan the ballet last night. Me and Dennis, we went out. We went to the Fremont Street, which is the old Las Vegas casino strip, and had dinner at the Gold Nugget. Then we went to the ballet, and it was interesting. I mean, it's definitely well. First of all, ballet. There's no dialogue, so everything's pantomimed, uh, or the story is pantomime. But they changed the story a little bit for the ballet. And for some reason, they gave Peter Pan a green mullet. Let me try to find the little advert they had so you can see. And Hook had sort of this purple hair with these like two horns. And I don't think this Nevada ballet company, I don't think it's like a real, I think it's more of a school, ballet school, which is fine. Or the performers are come from ballet school. But anyway, if you're interested to see their 30-second promo. Yeah, the one thing I don't like about Vegas is there really isn't a theater community to see shows like was in San Francisco. Well, we did have if you're ever in Las Vegas and want an interesting experience, there's this some friends visited last week and we went to the strip because we never go to the strip. Um, that's where all the big casinos are. But unless someone's visiting. But there's a place called Batista, which has photos from famous people, going way back to the early days of Hollywood, of Vegas. But they have all you can drink free wine with your meal. So as soon as you sit down, they bring out a carafe of red, a carafe of white, and you can drink as much as you want. They'll keep refilling it. And oh shoot, I kind of messed that up. Hopefully you won't be able to see it when I film. The wig I got is called the Aphrodite. You may recognize it. Sort of this Greek goddess monstrosity. Hold on, let me put on a necklace first. Yes, earrings. The correct series, good world building, but no magic. What did I just finish reading recently? I was thinking about that there really wasn't much magic in it. Oh, the book I just posted a video on, the trilogy I just posted a video on, the library trilogy by Mark Lawrence. I mean, obviously there's some magic library, but the people don't. Maybe there's one exception, but the people don't really have spells. They're not casting spells. It doesn't like have a that type of magic system. So there's hardly any magic among the characters. At least magic that they use. Let me zoom in. Okay, so I don't know if this goes with the makeup. Don't read much fantasy, more of a sci-fi reader. Lady Godiva, thank you. But I'm not getting naked. That's for my OnlyFans. Just kidding, I don't have an OnlyFans. Can you imagine? Okay, so this is the final look. We did the blue with the pink, and as usual, it worked out. Okay, I think heavy on the blush. I do like the way I did this makeup. I'm probably going to do it next week with different colors. Today, I will be filming a review of The Uninvited, a gothic horror by Dorothy McCardle, who is a much more interesting than the book was, I think, if you want to look her up. And it was made into a movie. And I may also film picking the 1944 retro Hugo books if I'm feeling up to it. These days, I just don't like doing 2 videos in one day, but, sometimes it's okay. And I'll be releasing Shove It or Shove It for May on Thursday. Thank you again for joining me. And what color is that called? Thank you. Honey Blonde. Yeah, I think Honey Blonde. Yeah. Yep, yep. Great week. Going back to sleep, 6:15 a.m. Have a great week. Thank you so much, everyone. And as usual, may all the books you read be blessed.